Previously on Back of the Backlog.
I think it's either Drucker or Mario that were actually your manager.
What are we gonna do now?
You're gonna call Niffler.
Drucker told me that Robert's been taking all of our bonuses.
And I'll tell you some good news. That dude is lying out of his ass.
He's been messing with all of us.
What do I do now?
I would turn on Steam immediately, and next month's game is kind of a longer one. Can you believe it's been a year since we've been together? It honestly feels surreal, I guess is the word.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's very nice.
It's amazing.
Like I said, I'm very sorry to think that you actually took our money.
Don't be sorry. It's alright. If anything, I'm sorry. Kylo, I'm sorry you didn't actually have a manager. I know you wanted to get other acting gigs. I know it meant a lot to you. Niffler, I'm sorry that we can't actually pay an extra amount. Because, well, you and everyone else deserves it. And Finn, I'm sorry for taking you out of a vacation. I'm sure you were enjoying it.
It's alright, I was there for a bit long anyway.
What do we do now? Mario and Drucker, they should be here any minute now.
Well, for one, I'm gonna go put on a suit. Gonna kill him with professionalism and contracts. It's the perfect way to do it. Don't you think?
What do you think's gonna happen?
Honestly, there's nothing they can do. We have the contract. We caught them in their lies. That's it. We're just gonna have a talk with them, a very stern talk, and see what happens. It won't be anything crazy.
Well, I guess I should get ready.
Yeah, same here. I'm gonna go get changed.
You're actually gonna go wear a suit.
Yeah, of course. Look, I get it. Tom Nook is a businessman, but this isn't exactly professional attire. I get it. You guys can just be naked, but I can't quite do that, you know?
That sucks for you.
Yeah, trust me. I know it sucks. I think I was born to be a nudist, but I actually chose the life of New Jersey. So, you know, different strokes. You know, it is what it is. I'll go get changed, all right?
On back of the backlog. Been gone for way too long. On back of the backlog. Got so many games to play, dog. On back of the backlog. Donkey Kong expands my dog. On back of the backlog. Me and Kylo been fucking since dawn. On back of the backlog. Did you know that Kylo wears thongs? On back of the backlog. I really fucking hate this song. Yeah.
I want to discuss Salamandra.
You offend me deeply. Out!
What is up, guys? It is Robert of Gaming with me, and welcome to the season finale of Back at the Backlog, the series where we take a look at the games that I recently beat off my backlog. Today's episode is on the game The Witcher Enhanced Edition. My history with the Witcher franchise starts with the game The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. It's a game I also haven't finished, but I thought since I haven't finished it, I would start in the beginning and play through the first and the second one before returning to The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt for an episode. I definitely got like halfway through it, but like, I didn't finish it. Regardless, I did finish The Witcher Enhanced Edition. The Witcher Enhanced Edition released on PC on September 16th, 2008 in the US. It was developed by CD Projekt Red and published by CD Projekt Red and Atari. Yes, Atari. I was definitely not expecting that. The Witcher games are built off the books of the same name from the author Andrzej Sapkowski. According to him, the game, with all due respect to it, but let's finally say it openly, is not an alternative version nor a sequel. So the Witcher games are essentially their own world, they're pretty much just using the license. It's honestly quite interesting to hear the author's take on the games because he actually really doesn't care about games at all. He was actually really in it for just a paycheck. There's a whole lot of fascinating details on how the deal went down. Definitely recommend looking it up because that's a whole video within itself. Now you may be thinking, Enhanced Edition? What's enhanced about it and when did the original release? Well, for one, let me get to it. And two, the original actually released only a year prior in 2007. The enhancements include improved loading times, new animations, new dialogue, improved AI, and a decent amount more. To me, it sounds like this was the game that was supposed to launch, but perhaps they released it early knowing they could work out any kinks a year later? But CD Projekt Red would never do such a thing. Well, is The Witcher Enhanced Edition a great starting point for the Witcher franchise? Well, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the story first. The game follows the character Geralt of Rivia. Found suffering with amnesia, he is taken to a place where his friends are, one of them being Triss, who helps him recover some memory. That being certain people, how he is a witcher, and some combat skills. Unfortunately, the castle they are at gets raided by the gang Salamandra and its leader Azar Javed. They steal some mutagens from the castle's laboratory, teleport off, and from there, Geralt starts hunting for Salamandra and Azar Javed. The game is separated into a prologue, 5 chapters, then an epilogue, which is really like 7 chapters in that case. Right off the bat, visually this game looks pretty nice in terms of its environments. Since I played it on PC, I was able to bump this up to 4K and made the game look super sharp. It's a game from 13 years ago as of this year, so really most, if not all PCs should be able to run this game in its best quality with high frame rates perfectly fine. The part of the game that doesn't look so good are the character models. As always, realism just doesn't age well. It looks fine to me, but it certainly doesn't look real. It also doesn't help that the character animations are quite clunky. You'll see characters moving their body parts in all sorts of weird ways. And since the only way to play this game is on PC, means it didn't have any controller support. For many PC players, that won't bother them in the slightest, but for me, even on PC, I like to play with a controller. So this was the first time that I played an entire game using only keyboard and mouse. There are some controller support mods that kinda work. I did attempt using some of them, but some buttons were mapped to the controller, some mapped to the keyboard. It was clunky, so I sadly had to sacrifice playing on my 70-inch TV to playing on my 27-inch monitor. Boo-hoo, I know. But I just do prefer playing on the bigger screen. I got adjusted to the keyboard and mouse controls quite quickly though, and I can tell that this is a game that was truly built with this control scheme in mind. Unlike The Witcher 3, this original isn't open world. Instead, throughout the chapters you are taken to different decent sized maps. One may be the town of Vizima, a bustling town with NPCs everywhere and a bunch of buildings to enter. Another may be large open fields that are rather empty admittedly. Unfortunately, Geralt is quite slow, and a large chunk of this journey is just traveling between maps, and there's no real form of fast travel. So while it's not open world, the maps are big enough, and Geralt is slow enough to definitely want a fast travel system, especially because some maps like the swamp are clunky to navigate at times, with dead ends in areas that don't quite seem like dead ends. And there ends up being a lot of traveling back and forth to many places. There's a certain teleporter in chapter 3 that is a huge help, but it takes you to like 3 locations when there's just so many more areas than only 3. So how exactly does this game play though? Well, you have your main quests and your side quests, but there's also a decent amount of side quests that you kinda have to do, so I'm not sure how some of those are considered side quests. Cool thing about the genuinely optional side quests is that they are actually as fleshed out as the main quest. Dialogue is fully voice acted and well written with objectives that feel like main story content. The main story has a variety of objectives you'll complete, but for the most part you'll be talking with characters, building up relationships with them, and taking on enemies and monsters. The prologue in chapter 1 is where you were introduced to its controversial combat. The combat is real simple. In fact, it kinda plays like a rhythm game. While aiming at an enemy, you click on them to start swinging your weapon. In order to continue that attack and chain attacks together, you'll have to click whenever the sword lights up. Click it when it says not to will stop the attack in your current chain. And that's really it. It's as simple as saying click when you see the light pop up. There's a bit more to it though. For one, you have 3 different stances. Strong style has Geralt pointing his sword upward and it's used to take out enemies that are larger or armored. Fast style has Geralt pointing his sword near his body and it's used to take on more normal sized enemies. Then finally you have the group style, which is exactly what the name suggests. Versing a group of enemies, well, you use group style then. You can switch the styles on the fly, which is definitely helpful. What's not helpful at all is Geralt's dodge. Honestly, I feel like this dodge is broken. I feel like this is the worst dodging mechanic I've ever experienced in any video game so far. I'm not even kidding. Dodging has Geralt jump over an enemy or twirl to the side, which is fine in theory, but the way the combat is and how long it takes to swing your sword after that dodging animation takes forever. Most of the time I did dodge put me in a situation where I still took damage anyway. The only reason to dodge, to me, is if you are completely running away from the fight or if you are performing the circle method, which I'll talk about pretty soon. It feels unbelievably rough and clunky. In no way does it feel like a dodge. It just feels like he's moving around the enemy. Other than the awful dodge, you can also use signs in combat. Signs are essentially abilities you can use like Ard that knock back and stun an enemy, making it an easy target, or something like Igni where you can shoot out fire, causing massive damage to almost every enemy. Then there's other ones that I never really used. Honestly, once I got Igni, I just used that all the time because it was the best one easily. Overall though, I enjoy the combat for the most part. If the dodging was an actual dodge, I could confidently say that I would really enjoy it. But because of the dodge, it really depends on the situation. Some battles are fun, some battles are just a straight up pain in the ass. Let's talk about these chapters though. Like I said, there's 5, essentially 7, and they're all pretty lengthy. Chapter 2 probably being the longest. I'm pretty sure it was 10 hours, which is a huge chunk of the game. From the beginning though, Chapter 1 has you exploring the outskirts of Vizima. This is where I noticed the dialogue is really good. Every line is voice acted and performed pretty well, I'd say. Geralt is a character that doesn't have a wide range of emotions, which is I feel what they were going for. Considering all the horrible things he's gone through in his journeys and his memory loss, I understand the lack of emotion for a lot of things. Chapter 1 ends off with a boss battle against the Beast, the flaming dog that does something horrible. If you know me, you might know what I'm about to say.
Let me guess. The beast was sexy.
What? Why would that be horrible?
True.
I got it. It performed a one-hit kill.
That's a close guess, but no.
Then just say it.
What? You guys stop me. Whatever. This boss battle brought other enemies into the battle. According to a decent amount of people on forums, the Beast is one of, if not the hardest boss in the entire game. Yes, the hardest boss is in the first chapter. Sure. I might agree with that. There's a boss later on that is pretty damn tough, but this Beast bitch felt impossible. There's a character that actually fights alongside you in this battle and heals you occasionally, which is nice. Or it would be nice if the character actually stayed alive. Yes, not only are you getting your ass eaten by the Beast and 3 other dogs, but the person that is supposed to help you dies mid-battle all the damn time. Not only that, but these dogs have the ability to stun you, making Geralt stuck in one position for like 7 seconds. And I mean, you literally can't do anything other than get damaged. It's frustrating as hell. So many enemies have that ability, and I honestly think that's bullshit. Maybe if it happened once or twice in a battle, but enemies do it multiple times in one battle. It's an awful and unfun decision. Who thought that was a good idea? Like, let's make 60% of all enemies have the ability to stop the player from doing anything, and the enemies could just do it at any time. And the players, oh, they won't be able to dodge at all. No, not at all. Why would they be able to dodge it, or at least time it where they could dodge it? I think that's just a truly bad design choice. Regardless, I killed the Beast by essentially bugging the game a bit. I stood in this one area where the dogs can't reach me or surround me, and I slowly just killed the bastard. Yeah, not exactly how I wanted to kill it, but hey, it's in the game, right? Chapter 1 also introduces a super major character named Alvin. Alvin is a kid who possesses magic so powerful that he can't quite contain it. He is given an amulet that should help contain the power, but the keyword is should. Regardless, Geralt and either Triss or Shani, 2 friends of Geralt depending on who you choose, watch over Alvin. Chapter 2 is this one long investigation that starts off with a cool prison escape. It's a short thing, but it's a memorable section in which you fight someone to get chosen to slay a monster in the sewers. If Geralt slays the monster, he'll be set free. While fighting the monster, there's a character that helps you in battle, and oh, what do you know? He dies in battle too! Yeah, most of the partners in battles don't help very much, that's for sure. Speaking of partners though, one thing Geralt does a lot in this game is fuck. While you may not have the sex scenes like in Witcher 3, after having sex with a character, you actually get a romance card from said character. It's a drawing of the woman Geralt slept with. It's usually a pretty sexual drawing, and I'm pretty sure it caused some controversy, But who cares, man? Someone's job was to draw those, and to be fair, they are good looking drawings, so good job on that, even if I didn't see most of them. It is funny when you think about it though. Getting drawings of people you slept with, just collecting them like trading cards. It's pretty odd, but it's pretty funny. It's just something in the game. The investigation in Chapter 2 goes on for so long, spanning several characters. Geralt must accuse someone of working with Salamandra, and while I enjoyed a decent amount of it, it certainly dragged on for way too long, especially considering the person working with Salamandra was actually the detective you've been talking to this entire time. The way you find out is pretty cool though. It's a good twist as the detective you were talking to is actually Azar Javed, and the actual detective is dead, which you find out by finding his body later on in the chapter.
Bro, when I found that body, my mind was blown.
Yeah, it was a pretty cool reveal.
Why did Javed turn into Geralt and try to turn people against him?
I don't know. It probably could have worked. You know, I'm sure Javed could have turned into a woman even, and killed Geralt right before having sex with him.
Yeah, I guess. Shit, I guess he could do that. I mean, if he could, makes sense. He should have. Before coming to that conclusion, though, you're walking from person to person, constantly trying to get little bits of evidence for the investigation, and it drags out because certain characters are in certain places at certain times. A lot of this creates pacing issues for this long-winded chapter. This chapter feels the most open in quest structure, which I can appreciate. You get a decent amount of quests based around the suspects and perhaps proving their innocence or guilt. Because of this, you are able to tackle missions in what seems like any order since there are so many. In this town of Vizima, one thing I noticed is how many character models they reused. That's honestly something that kind of bugs me in games. I get that not every NPC ever can be a unique model, but in this town alone, you'll pass by and speak to many characters that look exactly the same, but I just have to believe it's a different character. It's especially odd when characters that are tied to quests, like actual important characters with names, still have models that are reused everywhere. At the end of Chapter 2, Geralt must place these 10 Sephiroths, which are essentially just magical stones, into different pillars in the swamp. This was a tedious task, as throughout the chapter, you collect the 10, and then at the end, you have to give away the 10 in different areas. It's a pain because the swamp is a pain. Like I said earlier, it's filled with dead ends and there's monsters everywhere that stop the ability of doing anything other than just fighting. It just felt like padding, one that I didn't have fun with. Along your journey, you'll be given plenty of choices that could potentially change certain things in the game, like killing someone off or befriending someone, but there are a decent amount of choices when it comes to picking sides with groups that can be tough to choose. They genuinely may not have major consequences, but both choices many times are never just right and wrong. Choices you make will have pros and cons. There's truly no right or wrong answer because many of the characters you encounter go about their lives in a very troubled way. While you may understand why the non-humans are frustrated by how they feel pushed aside in this world society, choosing their side also allows them to kidnap and kill innocent humans. Picking a side in this world is really just picking a lesser evil. I stayed neutral throughout my playthrough, which also means I don't really get much help from many other characters in the game. I think this whole aspect of choice was really well done. Chapter 4 is a whole lot of walking around and talking to new characters that don't have much to do with the search for Javed. It's these moments where fast travel would be nice since a lot of it is just walking from one map to another since objectives can be pretty far from each other. Some areas were really nice to go through, but a couple areas feel a bit large for no real reason. But hey, I did have a cow follow me a large amount of time in this chapter, so that's pretty cool. It's a good chapter though, where you'll take on ghosts of certain characters, which I definitely enjoyed. Since a lot of that chapter is running around, it grabs you in other ways like its music. There's some really great music in this game that creates a wonderful atmosphere. It's a brooding and depressing atmosphere, and the world combined with the music perfectly captures that immersion. In this chapter, Alvin is seen a decent amount. Geralt gives him some advice to keep in mind, and at the end of the chapter, Alvin's powers are so powerful that the amulet actually doesn't quite help and he ends up disappearing. We're told that Alvin is so powerful that he could travel through space and time. That's something important to keep in mind. Chapter 5 has Vizima in a total war zone state. I love how it completely changes the world's image from Chapter 1. In this final chapter, you'll be helping out a king slay his daughter. Yeah, I'm not going to give any context to that. To, of course, the final battle with Azar Javed. I'm going to talk about the final battle just to let you know. This is one of the bad battles. Before fighting Javed, you have to face these two huge guys, and for some reason you can't save or recover any health before fighting Javed. So you really have to verse 3 guys before it's all said and done. What I did to win was do the circle method. I used the circle method in so many battles throughout my journey when I felt it just wasn't fair. The circle method is in the name. I run around the area I fight in a circle and just spam Igni until whatever I face dies. I don't want to do that. It's not fun, but it feels like it's the only way a lot of times. Turns out a lot of other people do the circle method too, as I saw many recommendations of running around and just using Igni. I didn't go out of my way to make potions that resist getting stunned or knocked back before Javed, and of course, he has the ability to knock Geralt down. What sucks about this is that there's what looks to be a campfire in the room where you verse the two huge guys. That's where you're able to brew potions and recover health, but for some stupid reason, once the two huge guys are killed, you are automatically placed in the room where Javed is at. No time for preparation at all. It sucks. So why have that campfire sitting right in front of me? It's a fucking tease. It doesn't help that health regeneration is super slow without potions. It literally takes like 15 minutes for your health to recover. I'm not even joking. Not only that, but the fight starts with Javed hitting you before you even have control of Geralt. That's another problem with this game. Constantly starting a fight before you can even move the damn character. It's unfair bullshit. So my ass was never gonna beat Javed normally unless I load up a save from maybe an hour or two ago, so that means I had to do it. I killed Azar Javed using the circle method. I ran around this arena from Javed and would turn around and shoot some Igni to damage him. Normally the fire from Igni can kill any enemy pretty damn quick, but apparently Javed is a fire mage or something, so it took a long time to kill him. How long? 47 minutes. Yeah, it's not supposed to be that long. This arena is so big that you could run far away enough from Javed and the battle will stop. Javed will just stand there as if nothing is happening, and since the game thinks no battle is going on, I was able to save mid-fight. Look, I was checked out at this point. I was running around in a circle for so damn long, I just wanted to finish. Eventually, a million Igni shots later, I did finish. Javed dies. Geralt finds out who is behind Salamandra. It's none other than the Grand Master, the leader of the Order, something the king definitely doesn't know. Then the epilogue starts. I'm thinking the epilogue would be like a half hour, but nope. This is a whole ass chapter. Turns out Geralt is hunting down the Grand Master now. During the epilogue, you encounter this Zoogle in the sewers, and this boss fight felt impossible. While it's a cool creature design like so many other creatures in the game, the actual fight was ridiculous. I got some potions prepared like regaining my health, but I felt nothing was working. The damn Zoogle hits with its tentacles and doesn't pop up until you attack a decent amount of them. And of course, it could stun Geralt as if it wasn't tough enough with 4 tentacles beating the living shit out of me with my shitty ass dodge. People recommend changing the gameplay perspective in this fight as it makes it easier. So instead of over the shoulders, you could change it to an isometric view that allows you to move with a mouse click. And for some fucking reason, it does make it easier, and eventually killed the bastard like a half an hour later. Fuck that Zoogle, I hate him. At this point, I was frustrated and I just wanted the game to end. After a lot more groups of enemies and running around, Geralt meets up with the Grand Master. The Grand Master explains that the world needs a leader to save them from its icy future, that eventually the world will be covered in ice, and he shows Geralt his vision. His plans include taking out the non-humans in the process, so obviously Geralt is against that whole plan of his. I gotta say, I did enjoy this icy dream world. You'll be scaling a mountain in which not only enemies come at you, but also help. Yes, depending on the choices you made with some people on your journey, you'll encounter certain characters that'll help you out, which I thought was really nice and had some good wrap-ups for those characters. Finally, at the top of the mountain, the true final battle awaits. The Grand Master does something horrible. You might have guessed it.
Let me guess. The Grand Master was sexy.
No, bro. Besides Triss, there's like no good-looking characters in this game even.
Says you.
I guess. Look, anyway, there's other enemies in the battle too. Developers, please, just make epic boss battles that stand on their own. This just makes it feel like any other battle. Before the Grand Master are 5 mutants. They aren't tough normally, but you can of course be stunned by them and you'll just get absolutely murdered because of it. Not only that, but sometimes they one-hit kill me? What the fuck was that? Literally, I have no clue. It doesn't make any sense. I don't understand. As for the Grandmaster himself, well, he's surrounded by 10 enemies. 10. Why? What the fuck? What kind of pussy is this guy? Does he really need 10 enemies? Does he really need that much? And those enemies also stun Geralt. Why? Well, once you target the Grandmaster using the strong style, he actually dies fairly quick. So it's best to just completely ignore the 10 enemies around you. Not like the entire game are you taught to use group style when versing a group. Nope. No. Just ignore the 10 enemies. With the Grandmaster down, a Grim Reaper-like character called King of the Wild Hunt appears. Wild Hunt questions Geralt's neutrality as he tells him that death and chaos follow him everywhere he goes. Hundreds are slaughtered by the Witcher's sword, so how in the hell can he be considered neutral? He tells Geralt to give the Grandmaster's soul to him, and with that, you are given one last choice. Agree and give the soul to him, or reject it and end up fighting the Wild Hunt. Fuck that, take his soul! I'm trying to end the game! I don't want to fight the Wild Hunt and then get my ass kicked and have to do the whole thing over again! And no! You're welcome, take him, I'm cool with that. After agreeing, Geralt kills the Grandmaster using the sword he kills monsters with, not humans, which is pretty cool. Geralt is released from that fantasy world and talks to his good friend Dandelion. Dandelion asks what he'll do now, and Geralt responds saying, "Only now do I feel my new life beginning." Well, with the Grandmaster and Salamandra out of the picture, that statement sure seems true. Not only that, but Geralt says that the Grandmaster actually had the same amulet that he gave Alvin. In fact, the Wild Hunt also did say that Geralt knew the Grandmaster under a different name. Holy shit, the Grandmaster was actually Alvin! Remember, Alvin can shift through space and time. The Grandmaster also wanted to create new Witchers, probably because how Alvin was affected by Geralt, but in the end, Geralt killed Alvin. When I found that out, that's actually a really cool ending. From there, Dandelion narrates over beautiful paintings of what happened next. Vizima essentially crumbled into ashes from a human versus non-human war. No one won. Both sides lost. As for Geralt of Rivia, his story does continue at another time. These paintings happened in every chapter and I think they look awesome. I love that way of storytelling and I would personally like to see it come back. Finally, there's a final cutscene in which an assassin attacks the king and Geralt kills the assassin just in time and unmasks it, and it's... What? Is that Geralt? Honestly, I don't get this part. Is Geralt like a clone now or something? Perhaps Witcher 2 will answer as the title is Assassins of Kings. Then the credits roll. After that, I did go back to fight the Wild Hunt and surprisingly beat him on my first try. Alright, sure. The ending goes on after like normal. I think it's safe to say that the Wild Hunt will be seen again though, as Wild Hunt is literally the subtitle for Witcher 3. That was the Witcher Enhanced Edition. Overall, I'm gonna give the Witcher Enhanced Edition a enhance the dodge next time, okay? Cool. Out of 10. I'm a bit mixed on this game. I want to say this game is good, but I'm leaning towards more of an okay. There's a lot to like in this world, but there's also a lot of frustrations and pacing issues. In terms of glitches, there were plenty of animation glitches. One save state would be completely dark, and then it also did crash on me 4 times. It took me 41 hours to finish Geralt's first journey, although I definitely think it could have benefited from being tightened up a bit. If they made the dodging good, add some fast travel, and remove that stun bullshit, those 3 things alone could boost the game by a decent amount. I know there are plenty of people that absolutely love this game, and I can understand why. It's just personally for me, I can't overlook some of its pretty major flaws for me. I can't help but think a lot of it was due to its budget. I'm sure the budget wasn't very big considering it was their first project. With that being said though, I'm glad I played this game. I can see the love put into it. I appreciate what it did, and I look forward to seeing the improvements in The Witcher 2 Assassins of Kings one of these days. This is the Season 2 finale of Back of the Backlog, so I'd like to actually take a step back and look at what we've accomplished. Over the past year, we've finished 12 more games. Splatoon 2 Octo Expansion, Perfect Dark Zero, F-Zero GX, Alien Isolation, Cameo Elements of Power, Metroid Prime 2 Echoes, Rayman Legends, Metro 2033 Redux, Final Fantasy 15, Kirby 64 The Crystal Shards, Yonder The Cloudcatcher Chronicles, and The Witcher Enhanced Edition. 12 games, 12 different franchises. How many more to go? I still don't have that number. I'll tell you when I do. Truly, truly, truly thank you so much for watching these. I love breaking down games from any genre, on any platform, from any year. These 12 games that I mentioned are so different from one another, and it's why I love video games. I really enjoy being able to release videos detailing games that I may not even enjoy that much. And perhaps some of you may be interested in checking out a game you've never actually even seen before. I'm definitely looking forward to as to what the next 12 games will be for Season 3. I hope you are too. Thank you so much for watching. Share around if you can. These videos take so long to make. If you can, I would really appreciate it. Have you played The Witcher Enhanced Edition? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Let me know down in the comments below, and I'll see you guys next time. The Witcher Enhanced Edition made me hate getting stunned, but it is officially out of the backlog.
So I see that you believed him, huh?
Stop, Drucker. Don't even try it. It's all bullshit, you know it. I have your contract. The one that, you remember? I signed. You didn't even sign a contract. Remember that?
Jeez, how do you remember that? I don't remember that.
It's a legal document, of course. It's something I remember. It's something you should have remembered yourself. You really messed us up, Drucker. That was a day I remember clearly. I was enjoying your presence.
Yeah, well, I may not be back for next season, but neither will any of you. Those ratings, I'm sure they're gonna go down.
The ratings are fine. The viewership is fine. It literally was better than Season 1, despite the whole host mishaps and missing hosts and reappearing hosts and Jigglypuffs and all that. We're fine. We're all fine. You guys, on the other hand, especially Mario, why? Why, Mario? What happened? You were our assistant, all of our assistants last season. You helped us out. I don't understand. The fact that you don't understand is exactly the reason why.
What does that even mean?
Tell me, what did I actually do here?
You were our assistant.
Okay, well, what did I actually assist you with? Can't tell me. I'll tell you. I helped with the script. I prepared the set. I set up the consoles. I bought the games. I tested the games in full alongside you, Fox. Alright, I get it. You did a lot. What are you trying to say? I was never approached with a thanks. Besides a few words, I never talked to you bitch asses. Why can't you just call or something? Just give me a call. Give him a call. Give any of us a call. I don't even have your number. You always had someone else approach me for you. I felt underappreciated and worthless because of you dickheads. I felt like I wasn't assisting anybody.
He is right, to be fair. I never did actually call him myself.
It's a very wrong way of getting our attention, though.
And how else was I supposed to do it? None of you were ever gonna give a damn.
I really wasn't expecting this. I'm sorry. I don't want anyone in this production team to feel that way. I mean, like, yeah, what you did was horrible, but I guess that is the only way to get our attention, right?
I'm also sorry. I guess I just didn't think about it.
I'm sorry too. And well, I guess thank you.
So what did you want now?
I don't know. I didn't think I'd get this far. I just didn't want to feel invisible.
I don't want you to feel invisible either. I want you to feel right at home in the production team. Obviously, you did a lot, and we just didn't give a shit or no. And I apologize. Like, I really, really apologize. But that was also not the way to go. I mean, can we be honest with ourselves?
You're right. I apologize for all this.
Well, would you like to be an assistant again? You know, I think the production team needs it. I sure need one.
Could I maybe be a host?
A host? Look, maybe sometimes. I can't promise it. There's already, well, 4.
If you actually treat me good, well, I'll say yes.
I'm gonna take that as a yes then. Because I promise you, you'll be treated good. We'll treat you like a good person, obviously, and we'll talk more often, you know? See how you doing.
Well, in that case, can I come back as a host for next season?
Probably not. Again, like I said, 4 is already a lot to balance. Again, maybe occasionally some episodes you 2 could pop up, or one of you, you know? But not 6 of us. That's a lot. That's too many hosts.
I'm sure we can think of a job behind the scenes for you. What about being a janitor?
You want to be a janitor?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, sure. Deal. That works for me.
I know it costs a lot of shit, but thank you so much for listening.
No. Thank you for telling.
And so the tale ends. Everyone is reunited and happy once more. Lessons were learned, games were played, and the massive backlog continues to shrink for another day.